The journey continues. Tzemach Tzeddek, the Sforim and the Neshama of the Tzemach Tzeddek, third Chabad Rebbe. So now that the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe established the Chochmah Bin of Chassidus, which teaches us how you bring the core essence of the divine, the core essence of a Neshama, into Giluyim, into manifestation, all the way in Tachtenim, in this lowest of worlds. So it's a combination of the highest and the lowest. Comes the Tzemach Tzeddek, who assumes leadership after the Histalkus of the Mittler Rebbe, 1827 to 1866. Tofresh Chavov. What did the Tzemach Tzeddek contribute? The Tzemach Tzeddek, as Das of Chassidus, Chochmah Bina Das, of Das, what he did was gathered all the Maimorim of the Alter Rebbe, turned it into an organized library structure, annotated it, cross-referenced it. And above all, he put it in context of all the Torah, literally, of all pardes of Torah, Chumash, Torah Shebeksav, Torah Shebal Peh, Medrash, Zohar, Kisvei Arizal, Kabbalah. He connected all the Alter Rebbe's Torahs and showed it how it contributes and how it illuminates every other part of Torah. And this is in addition to the Maimorim that the Tzemach Tzeddek himself wrote. So Tzemach Tzeddek was a prolific writer, and his Maimorim, his Chassidus, you can say, breaks into four categories. One is the Hanochas that he wrote or edited of the Alter Rebbe, or edited other Hanochas that I mentioned earlier. And from that he gathered, from over 2,000 discourses, he gathered that became the sefer called Torah Eir and Likutei Torah, published by the Tzemach Tzeddek, the select Maimorim of the Alter Rebbe. Then there were his own Maimorim. Three were the Rishimis that he wrote. He wrote Sforim, famous ones, Derech Mitzvosecha, Sefer HaMitzvahs, explaining mitzvahs according to Chassidus. Sefer HaChira was philosophical essays dealing with the debates at the time with those of the Enlightenment. Rishimis on Tehillim, commentary on Tehillim, Chassidic commentary, and more. These are the Sforim, but they're not just Sforim as we know, these are lives. The soul of the Tzemach Tzeddek. Just to give a quick example, there are two very classic discourses of the Tzemach Tzeddek, one called Drush Gimel Minei Odam, one called Drush Gimel Shittas. These are principles of how to understand Seder Ishtalshelus, the cosmic order. And the ideas are scattered in many different discourses of the Alter Rebbe. Tzemach Tzeddek gathers it all together, connects it and grounds it with the writings of the Arizal, and gives us an elaborate map. If you want to have a map of Seder Ishtalshelus, you look into these Maimorim. You want to have a map into the great Kabbalistic arguments about the most important element of Spheris, the interface between the divine and existence. And every interface needs to have some of one part and some of the other part. What represents the divine, what represents existence. So there are different opinions of the Kabbalists. Tzemach Tzeddek meticulously explains each opinion and shows how different discourses of the Alter Rebbe lean toward one or opinion or another. So you have the context. One of the most powerful elements of applying Chassidus to life is in one of the most famous expressions. And we'll read it from a letter from the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Welt sagt, Baal Tzemach Tzeddek omer le'echad ha'chasidim b'shah she'bnoi hoye b'sakona gdela. An individual came to the Tzemach Tzeddek, his child was very ill. Danger, very great danger, grave danger. This is the Tzemach Tzeddek's words. Awaken the power of trust in God. With pure faith. God will save your son, spare your son. Thought helps. Trach gut wird sein gut. Think good and it will be good. And that's what happened. And the child was healed. Of course, we know this expression. The Rebbe uses it so often in letters and in answers. But it's not just a nice statement, have a nice attitude. It actually can change reality. So over a century before positive psychology would enter the mainstream, that Tzemach Tzeddek is teaching this. Where does this come from in Chassidus? Because when you're connected to the soul and you're connected to God, you have resources that are far beyond your expectations. If you look at everything from surface level, yeah, someone's not well, someone's depressed, someone's suffering from this, someone's suffering from that. But when you dig deeper and you reveal the neshama, which is what Chassidus does, then your thinking good will actually actualize new potentials, new possibilities. In continuing in the same vein, in a letter, a powerful letter that the Tzemach Tzeddek writes, he writes how our attitude can change our reality. You shouldn't talk about depressing thoughts. You have to always show and demonstrate joyous behavior, behavioral joy. As if you're actually actually happy. Even though you don't feel it. Even though you don't feel in your heart happy, act happy and you become happy. And you'll end up being happy. What is the reason? Because according to your behavior and your actions, that a person actualizes, so actions cause feelings rather than the other way around. When you do it, then you'll begin to feel it. And then he continues in this letter a most powerful story, he relates. That the last night of the Alter Rebbe's life, Chavdala Tevis, it was Motzei Shabbos. And a few hours after Havdalah, we know the Alter Rebbe would be nostalgic. The Tzemach Tzeddek was the chazan for Maidiv that Shabbos. And Shabbos was ending. And he saw the matzav, he saw the situation with the Alter Rebbe. So when his davening, you can tell he was very depressed, he was very sad. He writes that my grandfather waited till I finished and then called me over and said that his great teacher, the Maggid, teaches Kemara ha'odam lamayla, that God's face reflects our face. When you have a happy face below, God shines a happy countenance on you. When you have a sad face below, God shines a sad face. But he waited, he said. He waited till I finished. This is perhaps the last words uttered by the Alter Rebbe Ba'al Medain in this world. Because right after that would be the Histalkus. That's how important it was. So it's not just abstract ideas. It actually comes down to how we behave and how we look at things. That there is no such thing as looking negatively. So some people think it's not realistic. You're being naive. I'm a realist. It's depressing. No, it's not realistic. It's seeing more than you see. What does our naked eye see? We only see the here and now. What do we know is going on beneath the surface? Come the Rabbi, comes at Tzemach Tzeddek, the Alter Rebbe, and tells us there's much more going on beneath the surface. Access it, and it will change your life. I think the lesson of that is quite obvious in living the Torah of the Tzemach Tzeddek. Nigun, song, does exactly that, which words can do. It touches us in a place that even if we may be down or feeling sad, it can take you to another place of joy. And indeed, the Tzemach Tzeddek explains in a Maimer that the song is like a circle. It's infinite. When does a song end? You just stop it, but you can keep singing it in a circular way. It has no edges, it has no ends, because it touches the infinite, explains the Tzemach Tzeddek. So the Tzemach Tzeddek's nigun called Yamin Hashem.
Aho